It is I, Qui-Gon Jinn.
That cannot be. Dead you are.
No. I am part of the living force.
Hey, what's happening everyone? I'm Sir James coming at you guys with another video, and today I'm here to give you guys my review on the Ultimate Works Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber, which by the way, I hope you guys had a good weekend. As for me, I had a wonderful weekend, especially for some upcoming stuff that I have coming in the mail, which we'll get over in just a moment. Now, some of you might point out and say, wait a minute, you never did an unboxing video and first impressions like I normally do when I get a new saber in. That's because this lightsaber actually does not belong to me. I stole it. Just kidding, I didn't steal it. Stealing is bad. This was actually loaned to me courtesy of Xander, who reached out to me, and he needed help with the Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber because, well, wasn't sure how to add fonts and whatnot, and he's purchased a few fonts, so he needed my help with adding them. But of course, I added my stuff on here for the purposes of this video. And well, the other thing too is that unlike the other Ultimate Works sabers that I've done here on the channel, where it's using the Asteria 2.0 or 2.5, believe it or not, the Ultimate Works Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber is a Profi 2.2, so that's even much more of a shocker right there. So way to go, Ultimate Works. Now putting Profis in their sabers, whether or not the other ones will be upgraded or if it's just for specific ones, I don't know, but hopefully Ultimate Works will continue this path here. However, they do need to kind of add some stuff, which we'll get to in just a moment. Now, the reason why my weekend was positive is because, one, I got a old figure in, which is the Sideshow Commander Fox. Yes, he's not my most favorite clone at all, especially for what he has done as far as the Clone Wars go. But other figures that I have coming in, which you guys could expect videos for here shortly, is the Obi-Wan Deluxe Edition based on Episode 3, Darkside Anakin Skywalker, and best of all, and I still can't believe this has happened until I get them in my hands this week, which is the Sideshow ARC Trooper 5s and Echo, and I got that for a crazy deal, which we'll wait until that time comes. But let's go ahead and get back to the Ultimate Works Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber by giving you guys a closer look first. So here is the hilt, and I have to say, I do like the look and the style of Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber. And I know back during the Galaxy's Edge videos, before this whole COVID thing went on, a lot of people were asking me if, you know, Disney is going to be releasing a legacy version of this hilt. The thing is, I don't really know, and right now everything's kind of not really much news going on because of the situation in the world. But this is a very nice hilt, and hopefully Disney does one day do a legacy version of this, as it's a worthy one indeed. Now, this actually does use a 2-button setup. As you would have figured, yes, the red button here is the main activation button. However, if you flip this over, you'll probably notice a little dot right there. That's also your secondary button, so when you're switching fonts or when the saber's on, you can use that for your blaster. Then, of course, you also have your cover tech wheel here. This one's actually quite an interesting one too, especially for its install. But before I go further, I just want to kind of go ahead and point out in terms of, you know, what you get out of the box type thing, since I never got to do the unboxing first impressions, is that the fonts that are included are like less than 8. They're pretty basic generic fonts, just freebies kind of tossed in there to kind of get the user started. And I will also point out, because this is using the Profi 2.2, is that the instructions are pretty basic, and for any newcomer to a Profi saber, they're not really going to understand how to exactly add fonts. Now, I'm not the best person to explain any of this because I still get confused on it every so often. I just know how to add the fonts, but getting the whole your computer set up and the config files and whatnot, that's a bit of a confusing matter that I can't really explain. Now, the first sheet of instructions basically goes over the basics of the hilt, how to get access to your battery or whatnot. So this instruction right here is very good. So definitely a nicely needed one. And then you get here that kind of gives you a brief user guide here. But again, there's no like instructions. There's no like, hey, you should go to this website and here's how you can learn how to set up the Profi and whatnot. So for any newcomers to the Profi saber, it was going to be a huge learning curve for you guys. Just thought I'd point that out. Luckily for the Asteria soundboard, you don't really need that much of a learning curve. It's pretty straightforward, and it only takes a couple of minutes to figure out. But the Profi one is basically a whole new ballpark. So first off, when we unscrew the pommel here, this is actually going to be where your port is, where you would connect it to your PC. And by default, it's already got the storage media on there when it was configured, so meaning you plug this in, and then basically your files for your SD card will be up there as well, so you could add fonts on there. But again, the other thing that I also noticed, that on the SD card, your config file wasn't even provided, which was a bit weird, because the config is an extremely important piece for a Profi Saber. So I had to contact the pack store, or the patch store, I forget how it's pronounced, but I had to contact them through Facebook and say, hey, I need the config files, which they did provide me in less than 24 hours, so thankfully that was the case, but it should have been included off the bat. Just wanted to go ahead and point that out. Now there's another thing which involves me having to remove the CoverTech wheel, which I'll do that towards the end of the video, so if we can get to the demo here in just a second. But I will point out something cool here, is that if you unscrew the emitter, and this is how you get access to your battery, by the way, so you take off the emitter completely, so you have this exposed right here. And what you do is that you basically pop this off, and well, there's your battery. This is a removable battery, so you can go ahead and take this off and go ahead and charge this. I will mention that the quality of the 3D printed piece on here is actually really good, high quality material, and they did a really good job. And this is using that kind of connector that they've been using for their Asteria soundboards, especially with the removable chassis. Now this is another cool thing that I like, is that when you have a font on here, and you connect these two together, it's going to play the audio that's set to the boot. So for example, when we connect these two pieces here, so there's that little staticky sound there, like there's power going to the Saber, which makes sense because I'm putting the battery back in. I thought that was pretty neat, so I really like that little function there. It's a very minor thing, but I just thought that was pretty cool. Now in terms of the weight of the Saber, just go ahead and kind of weigh this in for you guys. Give it a second to adjust. And this lightsaber doesn't even weigh much. According to this, it weighs 15.7 ounces. So yes, it's definitely a lightsaber indeed. So let me go ahead and turn down some of these lights, and let's go ahead and demonstrate some of the fonts that are on here. Mostly some of the stuff that you'll see, but of course we'll just kind of do the demo anyways. Alright, so now that the lights are tuned down, let's go ahead and pretty much ignite. So as you guys would imagine, the first font that's going to be on here will obviously be related to Qui-Gon Jinn. So just to quickly go over, again, if you just press the red, that activates the blade. Press it again, deactivates. If you have any form of music dedicated to whatever font that you're on, you hold down the red button for a couple seconds, let go. Hold down again, let go. It's as simple as that. When the Saber is turned on, and you press the hidden button back here, will activate blasters. And then of course if you press it again when the Saber's off, you'll transfer to the next font, which we'll do in just a minute. So activate, activate.
Oh, boy, I love you.
Almost got us killed. Are you brainless?
I speak.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
So when the Saber's on, you hold down the power button for a couple seconds and then let go. It's going to play whatever is in the force files. So in this case for me, a lot of times it's based on character audios. Oop.
Always remember, your focus determines your reality.
I want to do another one here.
I want to see you in a spaceship the moment the race is over.
Patience, my blue friend. You'll have your winnings before the sun will set. You'll be far away from here.
Now you might be wondering, why was the Cantina on there? That's because, well, the font after this, which will be of course Darth Maul, has the main song to kind of go with it. One thing I also want to point out is that on this pommel section here, there's actually no holes for sound ventilation, which is a bit weird. So I'm going to go ahead and activate this again. You guys can let me know if the Saber sounds better with this cap off, where you have better sound ventilation, or with it on. So here's how it sounds again with it on. Now let me go ahead and take this cap off. And then activate. And so what do you guys think? Does it sound better with the cap on or off? Let me know in the comment section down below. Next one over.
At last we will have our revenge.
Told you I got them on here. And yes, as you would imagine, if I enable the music. I don't want to play it too long because copyright. So, yeah, gotta have Maul on there as well, because, you know, after all, Maul is the one that killed him. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie by now. And then, instead of Force sounds, I actually added quotes related to Season 7, just because he didn't have much dialogue in the actual original films, but he has a lot of dialogue in the, you know, the Clone Wars and definitely Rebels too.
He is the key to everything. Every choice you have made has led you to this moment.
So I thought it was a nice addition for sure. Moving over. And again, most of these you've already heard before, but I also did add, I think, 1 or 2 new things. So gotta have the classic one in there. This one's got the random audio flicker. Next one. Gotta have the classic Vader in there. And you know what? Since we're at it, I actually have yet to see if I could change the color. Let's see. I think it's press this back button, then there we go. So if you press the small button and then the main button, you can go ahead and cycle through a little color cycle here. So we're just gonna go ahead and put this on back to red or reddish orange. And press the red button again, and that will lock it to whatever one that you chose. Next one.
Reset the chamber for Skywalker.
And that's the one with the carbon freezing chamber you guys heard from the last one.
Welcome, young Skywalker.
Of course, another green one. Now, in terms of how does the saber feel in the hand as far as comfort goes, feels very comfortable. I mean, I have no issues gripping this, holding it, twirling it in the hand or anything like that. Definitely feels great. Let's see.
Hello, Master. It's been a while.
Of course, Ahsoka. Commander Ahsoka.
Master Kenobi always said there's no such thing as luck.
Next up. Of course. Gotta have Kylo Ren in there.
Commander Skywalker, we know your father. And now you're going to give it to the First Order.
It's time to let old things die. Why are you here, Raven Nowhere?
Let's see.
The Dark Lord Sauron.
Okay, here we go. Here's another one. You guys may recall the Sauron sound font when I first got the Darth Vader, the MPP hilt from Corbath. This particular font was on there. Well, Fernando actually made a new blade style for it. He had one previously, but he actually has one where now you have the Eye of Sauron on the blade itself, which is pretty sick. So let's go ahead and activate. So that right there, that is the Eye of Sauron. Now there's actually different things on this blade style. This is just the basic one where it's fixed in one spot, but he has it to where like you could rotate the hilt to change the intensity of the eye. And then where you could also have it to where when your hilt moves a certain direction, where the eye will actually kind of slide up and down the hilt a bit. I just have it in a fixed spot because he's mostly in a fixed way anyways. As far as the films go, it just kind of looks in different directions. I want him to say the other one. Yeah, there you go. And then disappears. So give me a moment to change the battery on my camera and then we'll continue off. Alright, sorry about that. Just had to do a quick little battery change and I decided to let the AC cool down the room as it was getting a little bit too stuffy. So we just finished off on Sauron, so now we are on Tron. You guys know I like the Tron sound and effects and whatnot. This one doesn't have like any crazy smooth, it's just basic. But I actually did add a music track to this one. And then, of course, the music on this will actually go quiet. And then you have the main hum. But when this turns off, music kicks right back up. Hold down, let go. So there you go. And of course, you know what the next one is. My favorite one out of the Tron ones.
What have you become?
Oh, Disc War. Never get tired of that one.
I do not serve the Emperor.
Of course, Star Killer. Who?
Do not forget, you still serve me.
Next up.
This party's over.
Now this one I've also added something else to it, so hopefully I can get to the other audio quote. So first off, ignite. Now let's see if I'll play it.
In the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, you're under arrest, Chancellor.
Yeah, finally. I took the one that I kept repeating off and put that one. And the other one is, you know, you have lost. That would be the other one. So there's only two on there at the moment.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I will do what I must.
Of course, this one's got the, I think this one's just the Anakin one. Ooh.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
Nope, never mind. That one's the other one.
You underestimate my power!
Ah, there it is. So there's the memes right there that you guys always post. Next up.
I will have my vengeance.
Now you guys know this one. This one's got that cool effect. But I also added... So yeah, there you go. Notice the audio stays high while this ignites. Okay. There you go. I had to deactivate. I didn't want to play too long. The video is probably already copyrighted by now. But this one's the pitch black with a... there you go. So this is the pitch black blade fonts. I added quotes from Darth Revan, which might be hard to hear because this is a loud one. Yeah, it's really hard to hear, so let me activate another one.
Sides of the Force, light and dark.
So yeah, now you can hear him. Like I said, that this particular audio one is quite loud for the hum. But that is the pitch black saber fonts. The blade style is by Fernando for the Prion effect. And then for the audio that plays for that was actually by Kyberphonic. And then the Revan stuff is from another one. So it's like a combination of a few things into one. And thus you have this. Next up.
It is obvious that this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force.
Of course, Count Dooku.
You'll have to do better than that.
I'm looking at another dead Jedi. You're no match for the dark side.
Then Yoda.
Much to learn.
It's appropriate to have Yoda because Qui-Gon's Force Ghost appearance with Yoda. Though I don't have any quotes on here. Actually, you know what I should do? I should take the audio files from the Clone Wars when Qui-Gon spoke to Yoda and then incorporated this onto Yoda. That would be perfect. Should have thought about that earlier.
May the Force be with you. I sense much fear in you.
I'm not currently having any fears right now. I'm happy.
I sense much fear in you.
I said I'm happy.
Fear is the path to the dark side.
I'm not... I don't have any fear. I'm kind of getting worried now. I was hoping to do another one.
Moff Gideon.
Of course. Gotta have the Darksaber on there. Oop.
I would prefer to avoid any further violence and encourage a moment of consideration. I would prefer to avoid any further violence
said that.
and encourage a moment of consideration.
Hate it when it repeats. And I've repeated that over and over again.
Just as you betrayed our business arrangement, I would gladly break any promise and watch you die in my hand.
Oh yeah. Next up.
General Crow, you're being relieved of duty.
So this one's got that split blade. With the, oh, there we go. Green and then blue. Let's see this. There we go. Divide down the middle. You know, for General Crow.
It's treason, then. You should have listened to the ARC Trooper from the beginning, Captain.
Hate that guy.
Empress Palpatine.
Now, if you wanted to change blade color, I think I already discussed that in part 1 of it. Again, the back button, main button, and this will go from a stable red to a, there we go, to an unstable. Once again, stable red, unstable red. So this one's got Force sounds. So that's why I don't normally use the Force sounds. That's why I put audio quotes for characters. I think it just sounds a little bit better, in my opinion.
I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku.
I keep forgetting to put the font words. Another lightsaber for my collection. I really need to add that to my Grievous one. And then again, when you hold this down, it basically does it where he's spinning the blades. And then last but not least is, of course, Pikachu. Let's see, was there any audio on here? Yeah. So of course, we gotta have the Pokemon battle theme in there. So let's go ahead and turn the lights back on and wrap this up. So there you guys have it. That was the lightsaber in action. And like I said, it feels really good in the hands. I have made notes that upon swinging the saber around, there's been a couple of moments where while swinging this, I do accidentally deactivate the actual saber itself. So that's just a small gripe. So that's kind of one thing to kind of be aware of. But is it a big deal? Not really. Just something that happened to me a couple times. It will probably happen to a few other users who do end up getting this hilt as well. Now, the thing that I wanted to showcase, which is why I saved it for last, actually involves removing the cover tech wheel. Because the thing is, when you do plug in the saber and you're adding saber fonts to it, the process of doing it that way, the transfer rate is extremely slow. So I honestly prefer to take the actual SD card off the actual board and insert it into the PC because the process is so much faster that way, especially if you have a bunch of fonts that you're adding all at once. Again, it's just going to take forever. Then, well, the simple way of just, again, taking that off and just plugging it in. So what you do is that once you remove the CoverTech wheel, this is where the magic happens, if you will. This pushes upwards. As you can see, we're going to push up. You'll notice that this is now up here. And if you twist, inside will be your board. So they do have your simple like main wires here connecting up until the emitter section, and then of course you got this long cable and another cable for the speaker connecting all the way down towards the pommel. And then basically in the instruction it says you can carefully, I like to use the tool here, you can remove ever so slightly this enough out. So if you wanted to go ahead and get access to your micro SD card, this will be a lot more simpler to do. So that's what I prefer doing. Then once you have like everything back inserted, you just simply kind of push this back into place. It is being held together with a bit of Velcro to kind of keep the board from wobbling around. And then once you do that, you just simply kind of put the shroud back over it where it hides all the components. And then you basically bring this down to where you start aligning where the pretty much the CoverTech wheel goes. I like to remove the pommel just because it kind of helps deal with this process. And then let's see if I can do this really quick. Then all you do is line the pieces back up, screw back that CoverTech wheel. It's a little bit of a longer screw, so there you go. Make sure it's nice and snug. Go ahead and bring the pommel back on, and then now you are good to go. But yeah, like I said, that is the Ultimaworks Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber. What do I think? I think it's a nice hilt. Feels comfortable, feels great in the hands. Like I said, it's extremely lightweight, less than a pound. What was it, like 15 something grams there? But yeah, definitely a very lightweight. I do love that removable battery thing. I'm just going to do it one more time just for the purpose of this video. Just because I thought this was cool. I really like the fact that you just pull that off. There's your removable battery. You just pop this off, put it on the charger, and then you simply bring the pieces back once again. And then my favorite part. Yeah, that's great. It reminds me of the Legacy Saber or Sabi Saber. When you connect your blade, you got that beep sound. I actually have the audio for that, so if I really wanted to, I could switch it up with that, so it's like you're inserting a blade. But I think the static sound, because this is the battery, I think that's the best way to go about it. But let me know what you guys think about the Ultimaworks Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber. I think this is a great hilt. Is this something that I would recommend? Definitely, for sure. Only if you're comfortable with Profi, or if you really want to learn Profi. Like I said, the stuff that you get in the packaging as far as instructions go does a really good job explaining the ins and outs of the hilt itself. Doesn't really do much as far as Profi, just kind of goes over the basics again on how to activate the saber, how to change fonts, simple stuff like that, but it doesn't go anywhere near of how to learn how to use the actual Profi board itself. But once again, I'm Sir James, and let me know what you guys think about this hilt in the comment section down below. And like I said, I got a few troopers and figures that I'm going to be reviewing here on the channel as well. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next review.